This is Saturday, so 28th of November, 8 o'clock local time. I'm just ready to leave this little town over here. So the border, the US border, is 120 kilometers away, something like that. And everything is melting. Which is good, I guess. I'm supposed to have one light like this, higher than this, so it has to be somewhere here. So I'm gonna run with double flashing lights. So we're gonna look like a Christmas tree, but it is a wide load, 12 feet wide. So and then I'm gonna stop right before the border because I gotta swap my signs. These signs have to go and oversized load sign has to go on, because Maine, of course, is part of the US, and I don't think they recognize D signs. It's just like everybody says, you know. Sometimes you wish that. All right, it's my flashing lights. Exhaust off, and this thing always irritates me. You know, when I was back into the trailer yesterday, because I was disconnected because I was going across the road to the McDonald's over there, and it's slippery, so I turned on all these locks, you know, differential lock, axle lock, and when you turn them back off, they never disappear unless you start moving. So now check this out. You see now all these yellow signs? So now I'm gonna move. And they should disappear. Come on. Maybe they're frozen or something? Forward rear axle differential locked. Why? Oh, now they disappear. That's it. This was a good place to park, actually.
In 600 meters, turn right onto the auto route 73 sunround to St. George.
Oh, in Quebec also you have to have all your lights on when you have oversized load. So in the morning we started with +2, 275 Kelvin. Now it's +3. And I just heard on the radio that next week some deep freeze is coming even to the southern part of the states. right? And we need 73 south, which is Suit.
Turn right onto the Autoroute 73 sub-ramp.
I'm just checking so that nobody is in the curb lane trying to make a stupid move.
In 600 meters, merge onto Autoroute 73 sub.
So I got my low beam lights on, I got my flashing lights on the roof, I got 4 flashing lights in the back, and I got 3 flashing lights at the top. So if somebody cannot see this oversized load, it's not my fault. And of course I got flags everywhere. I got flags on each wheel, red flags, and I got 2 flags in the very back, and I got 2 flags on the bumper. And the sign, but it's a D sign, but that's what they wanted to have in Quebec. I still cannot decide how I want to pronounce the name of the province, because in English it should be Quebec, right? But all French-speaking people pronounce it as Quebec.
Continue on Autoroute 73 sub for 71 kilometers.
So my personal theory is that it does not make sense to use a foreign language when pronouncing names in English. Like if I say my own name, you know, or somebody says my name, they don't say SERGEI DRATCHEV, which is Russian. They say SERGEI DRATCHEV, which is totally different. And so we speaking English, and they pronounce my Russian name in English, right? Just like when you, let's say you talk to somebody, and you're talking about France, about a trip to France, so you don't say that you went to Paris, you say you went to Paris. You know what I'm saying? Right? So you use the same language pronunciation as the same languages of what you're talking in. And so to me, Quebec makes more sense, because that's the English version, because Q and U, like quick, it's pronounced Q, right? Quebec. Quebec, I don't know, but not Quebec. But most people here, that's what they say. Even when they speak in English, they'll say Quebec. Where are you from? Oh, Quebec. Alright, so we're gonna set the cruise at a hefty 91 kilometers an hour. So 56 mph. And it should be like this all the way to the border, I think. But it might turn to a 2-lane at some point. And I double checked my permits. My Quebec permit is still valid, because, you know, it just occurred to me, you know, I've been sitting so long. I got the permit when, Wednesday or Thursday or something, and I forgot how, you know, each state is different. Some states it's just like 2 days, you know. I think Manitoba in Canada, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, they're like that. So you gotta be careful sometimes. You gotta look at the expiration date of your permit. And so I was ready to get up from the bed, and I was thinking about this. I want to check my my permit. I did, It says expires December 1st, same as my Maine permit from state of Maine. And I double checked I got a book on my computer, like a PDF book with the rules for all the provinces and states, you know, for oversized moves. And I looked it up, if Maine allows weekend travel, and it said it did. But over here, tomorrow is Sunday, I think Quebec does not allow travel on Sunday with oversized load. Yeah, also tomorrow was an interesting day in terms of my creative endeavors. I sold 4 books. 4 Bücher. No, wait. Das Buch? Buchen? I forgot. What's the plural for the word book in German? Sometimes I miss German, you know? It was a very interesting language to learn when I was at the university back in the day in Russia, training to be a teacher of English, and all of a sudden they jumped this announcement on us, everybody has to learn a second language. And I'm like, what? I don't like it. I don't even like German. Well, back then, you know, like but it was mandatory, and so we started learning, and actually it was fun, you know. So I never learned it before. I just knew some words from Russian movies about World War II, you know, kind of like nicht schießen, partisan, you know, partisanen, panzer, you know, stuff like that. But it's a fun language, you know. So, and I want to learn Italian. I like that language is so beautiful. È bellissimo. Prima. But that one I think is the same BS with the cases and endings, so you have to learn. Like a beautiful woman, it'll be endings you have to learn. They all change when you change the case. You know, I see a woman, there's no woman. I gave a present to a woman, right? You see, in English there's no endings, right? The word woman stays the same. In Russian, German, French, and I'm pretty sure Italian, you have to change the word when you change the case, which is really annoying. So instead of learning one word, woman, you have to learn one main word and then 4 or 5 endings. I hate that, and that's why Russian is a very difficult language to learn for Americans, because you guys are used to this very economical system, which actually I like very much, right? So pretty woman, no pretty woman. I see a pretty woman, I give a present to a pretty woman. The word pretty woman does not change. Whereas in Russia, in Russian, French, Italian, etc., it's difficult. Anyway, don't get me started. But I do want to brush up on German, because now, of course, there's so many opportunities. You know, before it was difficult. Like, where do you find? Let's say you wanna learn a foreign language. Like, where do you find books? Where do you find movies? Now everything is online, right? All you have to do is just, let's say, instead of news.google.com, you can just type newsgoogle.de. DE is dispatch exhaust. You know, DE. D as in dispatch, E as in exhaust. And that's it. And all your news are in German, and then you can watch clips in German. You can watch movies, right? Like on Netflix. you can, there's a bunch of bilingual movies. All you do is just remove the, you know, the subtitles and choose the main language. They give you like some of these international movies, they give you a choice of, you know, 3-4 languages that you want to choose. So you choose the original German and go on. So yeah, now it's with all this technology, it's amazing what you can achieve in terms of languages. So, but Italian, I always wanted to learn that because I love their songs, you know, like the women are so easy to look at when they're young. So I don't know, but of course the older you get, the more difficult it is to learn a language, because you lose your brain becomes soft, you know, you lose the memory. But also it's true, I read about this, that speaking 2 languages helps keep your brain active in old age, and you have a less chance of contracting something sinister like Alzheimer's, you know, because when you speak more than 1 language, you know, your brain gets blood, you know, it works, you're active. So I think it's a good idea to learn a language, or to try to learn it when you're getting older. And of course now we have all these, that's what I wanted to buy, you know, as I'm driving. I need some kind of an audio manual, because, for example, German, I remember basic grammar, I remember some words. All I need is brush it up and maybe improve vocabulary, so I can read the, let's say, news on Google in German, maybe watch some movies in German, you know. And then maybe I can make some videos in German, because I know there's a couple of fans on my channel from Germany and Netherlands and Österreich and stuff like that, you know, Austria. And I'm a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's from Austria. So anyway, yeah, not much to show you guys, you see. It's a kind of a bleak winter type of weather, but it's still +3, 276 Kelvin, which is good. I have my light sweater on with a t-shirt. Oh, the kilometer marker said 99. Let's check. 103. And what I programmed here for my destination is US Customs. Now that's why I love the to use internet-enabled tablets. Or sometimes people ask me what kind of GPS I use. Right, I don't use a GPS. I just use an internet-enabled tablet. This one is from Verizon, and I have this is from Rogers, because my main phone is from Rogers in Canada. But when I'm in the States, oh, that's another thing I gotta do. I gotta switch this to Verizon. I have the same tablet, Samsung Tab A, 8-inch or 7-inch screen. But just if I keep this, when I cross the border, Rogers charges me, I forgot, $7 a day Canadian or $8 a day. It's just crazy. So it's much cheaper for me to have 2. It's just the nuisance of switching them, but it takes, like, you know, takes 2 minutes. But I gotta log out of my e-log on this one, because of course I'm using it. 2 main purposes are navigation and e-log, and I use Keep Tracking. And so I cannot just take the other tablet, put it on. I have to log out of Keep Tracking on this tablet, and then use my username and password and log on Verizon, on the Verizon tablet. And then also on the US side, I checked, once I cross into US, I'll be on US 201, and that highway looks like a mountain highway. So I'm gonna do I'm gonna put a GoPro in here, and we're gonna record some do like a quick like accelerated video, you know. I want to put it on and it'll be running, let's say, for 30-40 minutes, and then I'm gonna use you know, fast speed, let's say ×2 or ×4. Yeah, ×4. So then 40 minutes becomes 10 minutes, and then we're gonna add some cool Jamaica music, and you guys see that, because that should be interesting over there. But I cannot talk once the camera is here. See, now the camera is on my head. The audio sounds okay, I know, but as soon as I put the camera in there, it's very hard to hear me talking. Same, I know people complain about the Dodge Challenger, because over there the camera is here, and it's basically, it's too close to the engine, and that 485 horsepower engine just makes a lot of noise. Yeah, so basically 1 hour to the border, and then from there it's about 2 hours to the Bangor. And I've been at that truck stop. I found, you know, I was looking for a truck stop, and I see Dysart family restaurant and a truck stop. Wait a second, I know that one. And I used to stop there all the time, and I remember, where was I going? I was trying to remember, where was I going? Why would I be in Maine? You know, and then I remember that when I was with Landstar, quite a few times I went to Newfoundland. And to get to Newfoundland, which is of course an island, you have to get to the pretty much end of Nova Scotia, Canada, and take a ferry from North Sydney, Nova Scotia. There's a ferry that takes like 8 hours to get to the island. And so that's how I would go. If I had to load, yeah, a couple of times I loaded in US. Like I remember once I had to load, when I still had a step deck flatbed, we were somewhere in the South US, I forgot, Tennessee, Virginia, somewhere there, and they gave us these metal posts and panels, you know, like a bunch of metal parts. And I said, what is this? And they said, it's a quick assembly building. I said, really? Like, it's amazing. That's why, you know, one of the reasons I like this job, you always learn something new. Like I never thought they had this, you know, like a designed building, kind of like, you know, prefabricated building, what they use in residential construction, except this one has no wood or plywood or timbers or anything like that. It's all metal. And so they use that for something like a convenience store, or, you know, coffee shop or restaurant. And you need like 3-4 trucks to have all these parts. And then so yeah, I went like this from South US, you know, through Maine, and then I crossed into New Brunswick, Canada, and then I followed that to North Sydney, and then I was on a ferry. It was a bit of a you know, kind of like terrifying experience, because it runs at night, and they do have bunks, and they have like cabins you can sleep, but everything vibrates because the whole ship is like, I don't know, like a huge engine, you know. I couldn't sleep. and then you have to drive from the ferry, where the biggest town is, what is it, St. John, which is on the other side of this humongous island, and it's 500 miles, 800 kilometers. You have to drive through the woods with lots of wildlife. It's big, you know, hills, down, up. And then at one point over there where the road goes near the ocean, often they get 100 miles an hour winds, and there's signs everywhere saying, you know, if there's a wind alarm is in effect, it'll tell you to stop. Like, especially if you have a drive-in trailer, which acts as a huge sail. So they have trucks flipped over there all the time, but only at one spot. Like, it's about like 5 kilometers, you know, 3 miles. When the road goes near the ocean, then it turns away and it goes through the middle of the island. So anyway, it was an interesting experience, you know. So yeah, that's what cool about this job, is that you learn new things every day pretty much, and you travel all over the country. You see some unusual places that I would never have seen if I was, let's say, I don't know, a real estate broker, a stockbroker, or an accountant, you know. And now I'm not just a driver, I own a trucking company. So now that when somebody says, what do you do? I say, hey, I own a small trucking company. Because it's true, right? I'm not just a driver. I book loads, I negotiate rates, I plan routes, I order permits, I take care of maintenance, you know, like scheduling when to do oil changes. So I'm like a fleet manager as well, right? So I own a small trucking business. Alright, we're gonna pause the video now. We're gonna resume when I stop near the border to change the signs and change the tablet, because I think it's gonna keep going like this all the way to Maine. Pretty good road. And that's it in the mirror, that gray structure, that's the border. So I just passed US border. It was pretty cool, my first time here. And so of course when you're not sure, stop, you know, because you don't want to end up somewhere where they'll start shouting at you and screaming. And especially what makes me nervous when you see people just doing like this, you know, like putting their hands on their guns, like what the heck did I just do, right? And so I go there, there's 3 lanes for the trucks, and you follow the sign that says trucks to the left. So this is Jackman. Well, the actual Jackman is, you know, 16 miles, but this crossing is called Jackman, Maine, but it's actually, the town is called I forgot what it's called, but it's not Jackman. Jackman is way off, you know. But anyway, I go in there, and there's 3 lanes, and I see they're very narrow. And I remember calling them, right, when I asked them, when I wanted to know if this is a commercial crossing, because not all of them are commercial. And the guy told me that for oversized loads they have a separate lane. He says just keep to the right. And so I stop there where I see there's kind of like a fork. I see some lanes on the right, but the only arrow for trucks that points this is go straight, and it's exactly like this lane, like on the road, right? So I know I'm gonna damage something there. Either I'm gonna knock down the booth with the officer, and of course you will be lucky if the officer has time to escape. If not, that huge tire would just hit that little kiosk and leave nothing, you know, for future generations over there. So, you know, when you know that you're not gonna fit, you just stop, right? So I stop, and I had my light on so that they can see me, that I'm oversized, right? And I put on my flashers, and I just stopped there and I waited. I cannot go forward, I cannot go backwards, and the right lane was there was a barrier, and the sign says no right turn. So I cannot go anywhere unless they tell me, unless somebody authorizes my movement, so to speak. That's how I understand it. You know, kind of like you have to be very, very careful at the border, because it's easy to screw up, to go in the wrong lane, and they really start shouting at you, like it happened to me once in Montana. I had an oversized load, and my lane was actually narrow, and I looked at the wider lane was on the left, and I went in there, trying to cross, you know, leaving US side, right? The guy starts shouting at me. He says, you have your CDL license? I say, yeah. He says, why are you driving in the opposite traffic lane? And he was like real angry. He says, I'm gonna call the cops now. And oh boy. And I said, I couldn't make it through that lane. So, you know, you gotta stop and wait for them to tell you what to do. Otherwise they get really upset when you do something like that, like you go in the opposite lane. And the same here, right? The sign says no right turn, so I cannot turn. I gotta stop. And these guys, of course, they are like cops, right? So they can tell you what to do. And so I see after like a couple of minutes, I see a woman, a female officer with a mask. I see she walks out of that booth that I was afraid to knock down, and she starts walking towards this right gates, and I saw that those were much wider, and I see that when she was getting closer, she starts waving at me. So she raised the barrier over there, and she says, basically, come here. And I look at that red plastic barrier on the side of the road. I thought I would have to remove it to make the turn, but turns out that road is so wide, I just went a little bit like this, and you know, thanks to my steerable axles, I made it like this. I went through the lane that she was holding the barrier for me, and then right after that there's a booth, and of course I know it says stop, right? So that's where you get actually cleared by US Customs, and so I know that she would lower the gate or the barrier and come and deal with me, right? And so very slowly, you know, cool as a cucumber, I come to the booth. I look in the mirror. Yeah, she locked the gate, and she walks. And I gave her my passport, gave her my ACE, gave her my invoice with a PAP sticker. She says, do you have anything to declare? I said, no. Where you going? I said, I gave her the name of the town. They always check, you know, if you know where you're going. So maybe you hijacked the driver and now you don't know where you're going, you know. So they check where you're going. Do you know where you're going? Which seems kind of like a stupid question, but it's actually makes sense, you know, for cops and customs, you know, like, do you know where you're going? Like, is this your truck, you know? And then after a couple of minutes she came back. She says, do you need your paperwork stamped? I said no, because US they never stamp it, so she doesn't have to, because I guess she didn't have the stamp in this little kiosk. She'd have to go back to the main one. And I said no. And so she took my ACE cover sheet, because it has all my info on my plates and stuff like that, and my name and the entry number, so they always keep that one. And she gave me back my my invoice with my PAP sticker on it. That's it. So, and this is US. Why I stopped here is just look at this. I'm telling you, I feel like I'm at home. I'm back at home. Why? Because the sign is in English. Channel 9 monitored by Maine State Police. So if you're in trouble, you can switch on Channel 9 and you can say something. Hey, you know, where's the nearest coffee shop? But then the next sign, it says attention, and there's a picture of a moose, and underneath it says next 13 miles. Underneath that it says sur 18 kilomètres, right? So they still use French here, but I'm pretty sure you go a couple of kilometers, a couple of miles down the road, there's not going to be any French. And the green sign says Jackman 16, Skowhegan 90. So first off, those are English letters, I mean English American towns, and the numbers are not kilometers anymore, they're miles, right? And of course they don't tell you, they don't care that you're supposed to know Jackman 16 means 16 miles, not 16 kilometers. As back behind me, everything, if it says Quebec City 16, that means 16 kilometers, you know? So anyway, so let's just drive for a second with the head cam on, because I know the audio is much better. And after that, I'm gonna switch to this one. We're gonna put it in here, but Okay, now we're gonna take it out for now. All right, so now we can go. And I got my list over here because I cannot go straight. I have to follow my Maine permit. I don't remember if I need lights, but just in case, I'll put all my lights on. I got my flashing lights, and I stopped right before the border, and I removed the D signs. I put on my regular signs, oversized load, and I removed the lights from the top of the machine. So now actually it's pretty cool. It shows that the Google Maps, I just put in Dysart truck stop, and Google Maps says in 125 kilometers turn left on 43 East, which is fortunate because that's exactly my route. I have to follow 43 East for 6 miles and then take 150, 151 to US 2, Banks Road, and Moosehead Trail, Route 100, and then I end up on I-95. Entering Old Canada Road. Old Canada Road. And you see everything is in English. Firewood alert, state law, hands-free devices only. Old Canada Road, welcome, but on the right it says Bienvenue, whatever, like in French, welcome. But one guy said, somebody left a comment, they said, it's a very bumpy road, but we'll see. Oh, so next time if I am here, that's where you can stop. See? They have a nice pull out over here. But it's gonna be an interesting trip because I went on Google, as I usually do my homework, you know, just I want to see what kind of a road. I wanted to see what kind of a road it was, and I go on Google and I click somewhere on this US 201, and I use Street View, and then you can see, you can turn your picture. I just wanted to see, does it have wide shoulders, does it have narrow shoulders, and I saw that 201 was actually pretty good. You see? Because when you have a 12-foot wide load, you don't want a basic road, like a rural road with no shoulders. And this should be I'm gonna pass a couple of towns, but I think this 201 actually goes straight down. If I stay on this one, it would take me straight down to I-95, but, or rather, sorry, US 2. US 2 goes like this, west and east, and then you take US 2 because it's probably divided, and but yeah, so it should be very hilly with lots of interesting landscapes over here. No scales, no cops, smooth sailing, and then I'm gonna have a big celebratory brunch in at the Dysart truck stop. I'm not sure about the COVID policy in Maine. I have no idea if the restaurants are open or not, but I just was reading this morning, still lying in bed, like my region, which is called Waterloo region in Canada, it's still in the red zone, red. So Starbucks is closed, no seating anywhere. Some restaurants are open, but they limit much, like much more how many people can be inside, I think. And the one after red is orange. That's even more restrictive. And then the last one is gray. Gray is lockdown. I guess people are discouraged from all travel. Kind of like super restrictive, like a concentrated camp in Siberia. So we definitely don't want that. Like a more forest-like version of Quebec, where I just came from. Because over here, right away, you go into all these mountains. And you see, that's why I'm always saying about the automatic transmission, right? Because if I was pulling a regular dry van, I wouldn't even bother. Like, there's nothing wrong with a regular manual transmission, but when you have an oversized load, like heavy load, and you have to shift like 20 times a minute, see, it's not good. Coffee is already cold because I left the truck stop at 8 and now it's 10:30. All right, I'm gonna stop somewhere and use my tele lens to take a picture of the truck. You know, one cool feature, if somebody's into photography like me, if you use a long lens, like the one I have, is 70-200, of course, what it does, it compresses the background, and it's amazing for some automotive photography. That's how they take pictures of cars in advertising. So what they do is they find some awesome scenery, because you know, you don't want to take a picture of the car like in the middle of a desert, right? You want to see something in the background, and then they use a telephoto lens to bring that background closer, and so it looks like magic, you know. I did a picture like that when I was coming empty from British Columbia there. And there was some big hills and a river behind me, and you take a picture with a 70-200, everything seems close, kind of like right behind the truck, so it emphasizes the truck, so it looks much better. We're here somewhere. We're gonna put this on hold, this cam. I'm gonna take it off and I'm just gonna put on that dash cam. It's also the same GoPro Session 5, so I got 2 of these, and then we're gonna return to the head cam where when I'm entering entering the truck stop. And I'm gonna compress this dash cam footage, make it fast, and so add some music so it should look cool. passing mile marker 173, and my Google Maps says I'm 10 kilometers or 6 miles away. Actually 7, because I need exit 180. So 180 minus 173 is 7, but it says 10. So yeah, they did not lie, you know. People were saying that Maine does have interstate freeways, and here I am, you know. After spending so much time on those scary mountain roads, I'm telling you, something weird happened to me. Like, I'm driving here, right, and there's a hill, and all of a sudden I see everybody is passing me, and you know, and I'm thinking, these guys are nuts. What if there's another vehicle coming from the opposite direction? And there's one after another passing, and they don't mind the curve, like the blind zone, so you cannot see people coming from the opposite direction. And then I'm thinking, wait a second, this is a 4-lane divided highway, it's not a 2-lane highway. But that road was pretty bad, you know, like no shoulders on this 151. Yeah, 150 was more or less okay, but I was on that one like 2 miles, and then 12 miles on 151 were really kind of like hell. And then 201 from the border started pretty good, because I remember one guy left a comment saying, oh, 201, he says, you're gonna, you know, it's gonna rattle your teeth. And I'm driving right from the border. It's brand new road. You see all the, you know, all the lines, everything is like freshly painted, you know. But then probably I was on that 201 for what, 78 miles to 43, and probably mile marker 40 or 50 the road became really terrible, you know. To give you an example, it was so bad I had to shift into gear what, 7, and I was driving like 40 miles an hour, you know. And then even that one was too fast, because it was constant, you know, potholes, constant breaks in the road, especially going downhill. Like when you're climbing a hill, the road is okay, but when you're going down, it's like, you know, like the whole truck. And that one was probably, that bad area was, I don't know, maybe 15-20 miles long. What's going on over there? Oh, they're fixing the bridge, I'm guessing. And what's interesting is that I thought I got lost at one point because there was no signal, but Google Maps was still able to you know, use the location, right, the GPS, and it pulled me through, and exactly on the same route as what's on my permit, because I had to stay on 151 to Highway 2, and then Highway 2 like a small connector there, Highway 100, and then like, I don't know, 1/3 of a mile on that one, and I jumped on 95. And so yeah, now 4 kilometers or what, I don't know, 2 miles, I should be leaving this. And I spent some time yesterday again with Google Maps, and especially satellite view, you know, refreshing my memory about the truck stop. Like I mentioned, I did stop there many times before, but maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And so I looked on a satellite Google Maps, try to see which spot is bigger where I can just pull in without backing, you know. And And they have the truck stop on the left side. When you go on the secondary road, the truck stop is on the left side, but on the right hand side they have a car wash. And on the satellite image I saw that there's a bunch of trucks parked there, so I think it's the kind of like additional parking. And over there's lots of room for a lawn truck like mine. Just goes, you know, go like this and park away from everybody. So that's the plan. But of course, first I want to see how many trucks are there at the truck stop itself on the left-hand side. Because if there's not that many trucks, that area also has. I can park near the curb there. Alright, exit 180. I see the sign says 1 mile, 1.6 kilometers. Perfect. Because 1 mile is 1.609. 1,609 meters. Okay, see, I'm taking the exit and then I'm going under the freeway, and the truck stop is going to be here on my left hand side. Exit 180, food, Dysart's restaurant and truck stop. There was a cop on the left.
600 meters, take exit 180 toward Herman.
There's a Best Western. I saw that one on the satellite photos. I'm telling you, it's really helpful, you know, when you do your homework. And I didn't used to do that when I had a regular trailer, you know, like even 3-axle step deck. But with this thing, with a tandem booster, you gotta know where to park.
Keep left at the fork, then turn left onto Coldbrook Road.
Okay, we're turning left here. And like I always tell you guys, if you ever shoot a video, make sure you come to a complete stop at the stop sign. If you don't want to lose your job, especially if you're a company driver, or if you work for a company, like not for yourself like me. And that was the problem at one time. Everybody was doing these trucking videos, and people kept filming as they were slowly rolling through stop signs, you know, failing to signal. So that area, that's the also part of the truck stop. That's the first area on the right with lots of trailers, but that's a repair shop. Also, I saw that on the satellite footage. Yeah, so that's repair. Oh wow, Kenworth, excellent. I can buy some. I need to buy some filters, fuel filters. Remember, I couldn't find them. So yeah, I see now people, you can park over there. Okay, let's see. So that's the actual truck stop. So do we have space in here for a long I think we do. I can park right here on the side. Yeah, I can do that. I just need to turn around somehow. And that's the area I was talking about.
Onto Emerson Mill Road, then turn left.
That's the what do you call it? Maybe I'll park there. Okay, let's go there first, and we'll see if it's okay.
Take the next left, then turn left.
Because I remember seeing where the green hill is. That's what I saw on the satellite. You know, it's like amazing. I saw this, and you can see spots that were marked with trucks, like with white lines. Of course, I cannot park, you know, across the white lines. But over there, behind that brown truck, oh, check out the Cabover Peterbilt. So I was thinking over here, this will be a perfect area. Let's see if I can fit in here. You know, right on the side of this. Because I got a steer wheel booster, you know, it should actually work. If I didn't have a booster, I wouldn't be able to do that, but with a booster I can go like this. And my left tire is on the grass. But the plan is so that I don't block the entrance. And look at this, perfect. Wow, I'm a genius. Yeah, I think we're good. Oh wow, and we have traction parts. Oh, I'm definitely buying fuel filters here. And this is a Dysart's Warehouse International dealer. Oh, Western Star. And then further down is Mac. Wow, this is great. And then Traction, that's Canadian. I don't know if you guys have it in US, but in Canada it's a big chain. Traction heavy duty parts. And of course I just have to find out. Look on Google. Look on Google. Who is open? Because I got my numbers. Okay, sign. Save. Unable to connect to the internet. What are you talking about? Come on, Verizon. Oh, but I'm off duty. That's all I care. As long as it puts me off duty. Now I just wanna enable the airplane mode so that the battery doesn't die. All right, so yeah, so this was my route. US 201 south for 78 miles, 43 east for 6 miles, 150 left, I don't know, east 2 miles, and then 151 12 miles. This was a very bad, very narrow road. And then I jumped on 152. No, I stayed on 151 just as my permit said. And 151 took me straight down to Highway 2 east. I followed that one for 6.5 miles, and then I turned on not Banks Road but Bonds Road. I think B-A-H-N-S. So Bonds. So binder, axle, hose, neutral, shifter. Okay. and I turned right on Bonds, and right away I turned right on Moosehead Trail or Route 100, and then like, I don't know, 1/8 of a mile after this turn there's entrance to 195 East, and that's it. And then from that it was like 30 kilometers, 20 miles to this place. So this is it. So that's where I'm gonna sit till I'm gonna sit here. The weather's good. You see, it's not too cold. I think it was like +6, 279 Kelvin. Beautiful. See, the trees are still green. Well, some of them. You know, that's some kind of I see some brand new flatbed trailers. Probably some kind of a dealer. Yeah, this area, it's been a while since I've been here. I don't remember International, I don't remember Traction, I don't remember Mac. But this is a great truck stop, you know, because there's so much parking here, right? So like I said, if you cannot find parking at the actual truck stop, then you have this. And then you have the repair shop. I'm pretty sure they would probably, in a pinch, they would allow to park there. And yeah, it took me, so it's 2 o'clock now. Imagine, I left at 2 and I stopped once for about 15 minutes to check my chains. Oh, and I was changing the signs, right, at the border, and was checking chains. And then I think on Highway 2, yeah, on Highway 2, when I was on Highway 2, there was finally a wide shoulder, so I was able to stop, and I wanted to check my chains after that rattling road, and that's it. So 8 to 2, 6 hours minus, let's say, half an hour, and then it took like 10 minutes to cross the border, but still 5 hours to do what actually was like almost 200 miles, because from the border it's 130 miles to here. Hold on, I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, I think it was 130 miles from the border, and then from the truck stop where I was sitting in Quebec, it was about 60 miles, like 100 kilometers. So, but I made it. So now my consignee is like 5 minutes away, because I'm west of Bangor, and my consignee is just south of Bangor, like a small town just south. So now I can relax, go. And now, of course, I didn't eat anything, I just had coffee. So the main goal now is to go find some food. And like I said, they have a restaurant at the truck stop, a pretty good one, but I have no idea what the rules in Maine are. Are restaurants open for dining? Are they open only for takeout? That would really suck, but I'm definitely bringing my masks. Always have one under the chin, and then in case those stupid strings tear, which happened many times, I have a couple of spare ones in my pocket. Alright, this is it. So hope you enjoyed the video, enjoyed this ride along all the way from, I cannot say the name of the town where I was sitting, but at Ultramart truck stop. It's a very long name, St-Lambert something with 20 words in it. And we see, check this out. Truck. Wow, that's a 350. F350. And a car, but a lot of people drive trucks here. Either trucks or SUVs. Now, another vehicle is coming. Can you guess what it is? Is it a car or a truck? Well, if you said the truck, you were right. It's a GMC Denali. Alright, and now from the left we have Chevy SUV, Tahoe, and another Toyota something, but also probably four-wheel drive. Toyota SUV, and what is that? Chevrolet pickup truck and Dodge truck. See? Okay, this guy did not work too hard, so that's all he could afford. Toyota Camry. Alright, this is it. Enjoy your weekend. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Keep that turkey, you know, there's a lot of poor people, so maybe leave it on the porch